right, Accordion Cool again, and yes, I'm still Coach Dave. And today's theme is, we don't have a theme. So what I'm doing today is I'm just going to play dealer's choice, tunes I like and tunes that I play quite often. And on my live shows, that first tune I always open with Anything Goes, because if you've been watching this show long enough, you know that anything goes. Bad or good, it goes. So, in fact, I was at a gig a few months ago, and I'm playing that song, and this young lad, maybe 15 years old, walks up, and he's standing there. When I finished, he said, pointed and said, "Anything goes." I says, "My goodness." I says, how did you know that?" And he says, "My father taught me. He taught me right." And I said, well, okay, I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. Well, this next tune, okay, I got to make some changes here. Hang on. Oops. I'm trying a new system, and I think where we should be. This tune was written in 1953, Duke Ellington tune, and of course his co-collaborator, Billy Strayhorn. They wrote a lot of tunes together, and this is one of their biggest hits, 1953. Little tune called Satin Doll. Let's start off with a little Duke intro, and then we'll get into it. Satin Doll, Satin Doll. Well, if you are frequent watchers of this program, and I hope you are, you probably recall that I've been having all kinds of difficulty with this new instrument, and I'm sure most of it was user ignorance, but I'm doing something a little different today with getting the different sounds, so bear with me. And next show, see, because I'm going to go back in and do this again, even without adult supervision. So the next show, I should have them in the order that I want them. So that's that. So this next tune was written in 1928, I believe. It was actually, I guess, the first recording is a fellow named Eddie Cantor. Remember Eddie? Anybody remember Eddie Cantor? He was kind of a song and dance man, and he actually got into TV probably, I would say, in the 50s or so. And I'm sure he's no longer with us, as are most of these great entertainers. And the song is from a show. The show is called Whoopee! So what do you think the song is? Making whoopee! Little making whoopee. Let's see what we do with this. Whoopee, I think I probably mentioned this before with that song. There's another song that I also play. I'm not going to play it today. Why, Coach Dave? Because it's in the same key as Making Whoopee, and the chord the chords in the song are almost exactly the same. In fact, the first 6 measures or so, they are exactly the same. And I always end up, it's called The Glory of Love. I always end up, if I try to play them both on the same gig, forget it, it's chaos. I'm playing one or the other or mixing them up. So that's why you won't hear Makin' Whoopee and Glory of Love on the same gig with Coach Dave. Okay, going back to the piano sound on this, and we're doing, I can't remember what the song is, the next song. Oh, I know. Georgia on My Mind, 1940, written by a fellow named Hoagy Carmichael. Now, Hoagy Carmichael, much like Eddie Cantor, was kind of a song and dance man, and you don't picture a song like Georgia on My Mind being written by a fellow like Hoagy Carmichael, but he did. And like I said, that was 1940. Around 1960 or so, a fellow named Ray Charles, remember Ray Charles? Yeah, blind piano player, singer. He had a huge hit on Georgia on My Mind. So let's see what happens. Georgia on my mind. But most times if you play with a group, you just say Georgia and everybody knows the tune you're talking about. But like I said, the real given name is Georgia on my mind. Been to Georgia several times. There's a place called Stone Mountain in Georgia. And what is unique about Stone Mountain is there are carvings on the side of the mountain. It's all stone. And the carvings are of 4 Confederate generals on their horses heading north. So they're still a little touchy, little bit touchy down there about the Civil War. So, but it's a great place. It's the the monument is spectacular. It's a nice little area. And I'll start being their Chamber of Commerce. All right, we're going to change my little tune here one more time. All right, this tune, I like this tune. This tune, every year, if you recall, every year on Memorial Day in Indianapolis, right, a bunch of guys get in their cars, okay, and they go speeding around in a circle all afternoon, right? It's called the Indianapolis 500. I don't know how many circles they make, a couple of hundred. I mean, how difficult is that? Guys, it's all left turns, you know. And they have a pace car the first lap, in case they don't know where they're... Oh, don't get me started. And then, of course, a lot of people pay a lot of money to come in and sit in the stands and watch these guys go around in a circle. And then it's televised, so the guys at home, you know, sitting in front of the TV, drinking a beer, watching. I don't know. But this song, every year, is sung before the event takes place. Jim Davis from the Andy Griffith Show, Gomer Pyle. Remember Gomer? Gomer, yeah, Andy. Yeah, well, he used to do it, but of course Gomer's no longer with us, so they have another person doing it. So let's do a little Indiana, back home again in Indiana. Back home again, and you know, Indiana is a small state. It's like 60 miles across, something like that. I mean, you can in an hour you can go across it. It's basically, I think it's a space holder between Illinois and Ohio, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with Indiana. Been there several times. Okay, I guess I've taken care of all the plugs. Oh, well, I guess we lost our sign. Son of a gun. Just noticed it's on the floor. Can't see much when it's on the floor. All right, our last tune of the day. We want to thank you all for tuning in, listening, watching, however it is you do get our show. And of course, the big guy behind the glass. I don't think I've messed him up too much today because even though I got this thing set up without adult supervision, I think it came out all right. And this tune was written in 1945. It's a French tune. Came to America. They translated it. They put English words to it. If they translated it perfectly, well, the name of the tune is Autumn Leaves. If they translated it perfectly, it comes out Dead Tree. So they decide, well, they didn't like that, so they changed the name to Autumn Leaves. So I was playing this tune way back when I was taking my early lessons, and yeah, it's a nice little tune. Then the jazz guys got a hold of it, and oh boy, here we go. So a little Autumn Leaves, maybe a bit quicker than you're used to hearing. Okay. Autumn Leaves or Dead Trees. I think Autumn Leaves are much nicer sounding. Of course, we're taping this show in the spring, so we're seeing all those pretty leaves coming in, and 6 months from now we'll be out raking them. But that's okay. That's okay. And once again, as I said before, thank you all for listening, tuning in, however you get us, and naturally the big guy. So I guess maybe we'll take it home with, let's do something different. Let's do Back Home in Indiana. And I won't even change the sound. Let's see if I can get away with this.